Hello everyone. Today we're on the book of Nehemiah. Now this book was written by Nehemiah in about 430 years BC. It's an inspiring story of how one man's fervent prayers can affect a nation. He's a slave for the foreign king Artaxerxes in Persia. And in chapter 1, Nehemiah learns of the terrible state of Jerusalem and the remnant of God's people. So he prays fervently and continually. Now, bearing in mind he's not a spiritual leader or a prophet, he's just one man who decides to set his mind to pray hard. And his fasting and praying changes things, because God hears. God makes the king sympathetic to his cause and releases him to go for a set time with his blessing. God is in the business. And he ends up as governor of Jerusalem, and with God's help supervises the repairs not only to Jerusalem's walls but the spiritual life of the remaining people of God. It's a great story of restoration and renewed commitment and hope for God's people, not only then but I believe as an example for us today. Now, Jerusalem had a temple, but there was no protection from the city from further attack. So Nehemiah travels to Jerusalem and skillfully rallies enough people to rebuild the walls around the city. And within a few weeks, the walls around Jerusalem were built and standing tall, and their enemies lost their confidence. You can read all about this in chapters 1 to 7, showing how he leads and directs this immense project by getting each family to work on the wall that was directly in front of their own houses. And with this hard work, the wall was astonishingly completed within 52 days. He must have been an inspiring leader, and this method not only allowed the walls to be rebuilt, but it allowed the remnant of God's people to feel an identity and a uniqueness in their involvement in rebuilding their own city. It was shared ownership. Going on then in chapters 8 to 13, we see Israel finding and re-establishing themselves again as a nation, in which the Sabbath, importantly, was reinstated and recognized again. Furthermore, Ezra, the scribe, was asked to bring the book of the law which Moses had received from God, realizing that if they were to survive as a nation, they had to obey God's law. Now, I've heard, and I'm sure you may have heard, many sermons preached using Nehemiah's example. And if we look at our own nation today, we're in a time of crisis. Like many other nations of the world, we are faced with rebuilding our economy and our way of life following this pandemic. And we'll need great leadership like that of Nehemiah. He discovered that fervent prayer changes things. So, I believe the lesson for us today is that we need to start praying big, ambitious prayers, just like Nehemiah's. Enjoy reading this book. It's a great encouragement to prayer. God bless.